Hello, welcome to our episode of the Stevenson Center podcast. My name is Juan and Zamarripa, and I'm joined by Austin Moser.
Hello.
Today, you're going to be hearing about our experiences prior to the Stevenson Center, during the Stevenson Center, our current fellowship, and just how that fellowship is going and how our lives are going in DC.
There you go.
Austin, do you want to start us off today about telling us about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Austin Moser. I'm originally from about 45 minutes west of DC. Went to Virginia Tech for my undergrad, studied economics. And yeah, what about you, Juan?
I grew up in Rolling Meadows, Illinois. I went to the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. I double majored in political science and economics. I graduated in 2010.
Nice. And then what'd you do after school?
For the first 4 years, I worked at a bank as a supervisor, mostly more like a retail bank where people go open up checking accounts, savings accounts, and stuff like that. How about you?
I became a ski bum in Colorado for a while before I got to Peace Corps in Southern Africa in Lesotho.
How was your Peace Corps experience?
It was pretty good. I did HIV education mostly, taught computers, coached basketball, hung out in the mountains where it was freezing cold all the time, all those wonderful Peace Corps things that people talk about. And you did AmeriCorps?
Yeah, I actually did AmeriCorps here in Arlington, Virginia, where I'm currently living during my fellowship. And my position was as it was called Emerging Leaders Program Facilitator and Robotics Coordinator. So what that is it's a college access program that helps mostly Latino students and other immigrant youth, learn more about college, find out what it takes to get through college. And I also mentored seniors in high school, like helping them apply to colleges, write their admissions essays, apply for scholarships, and just get them ready to go to college. And then I also piloted a robotics program for middle school students, also mostly Latino students. We played with Lego robots.
Nice.
So we followed this Cornell curriculum and did a bunch of little mini tasks. And at the end, we built this maze to help them learn how to program, how to get their robots through.
Nice. Did you have a most rewarding part of it or like a favorite part of your experience?
Yeah, I think working one-on-one with the high school seniors, I worked with mostly male students. A lot of the times our sessions would be maybe like an hour to 2 hours. When you spend an hour, 2 hours with someone weekly, helping them write essays, especially, personal essays, you really get to know these students. And it's really awesome. One of the students I'm still in contact with, and he's currently at Virginia Tech about to graduate. And actually, he just got his first job offer with an organization called MicroStrategy. And he's been paid very handsomely, probably more than it will be made.
Yeah, more than Stevenson gave you?
Yeah, definitely. I was very proud to have worked with a student like him and other students just like him. I would say that was probably my favorite moments from my AmeriCorps experience. How about you? How was Peace Corps?
So kind of similar. I did, like I said, I kind of did a lot. I coached basketball, taught computers, worked at a health center, did some HIV outreach. My favorite was always teaching computers, just because it was very tangible how much work you were doing. Mm-hmm. Like for most of the kids, they came from more rural areas into town where I was working. Almost all of them is their first time using a computer. So going through those first couple of weeks of teaching kids how to hold a mouse, teaching kids what a keyboard is, how to turn on the computer, all those incredible frustrations of how unintuitive right-clicking is. You never would know. But then by the end of the year, they were all mastering it and stopped listening to anything I said because they're having too much fun playing on all the programs I taught them.
I would imagine.
Yeah, which good and bad, especially because they all figured out how to download movies and things.
What kind of skills would you say you learned more, professional skills versus, that you think would translate into an office or possibly, like something you took from that experience that maybe you're applying to the fellowship or possibly just in the future?
I'd say the big thing with Peace Corps is always flexibility and I don't know exactly how to say it. I'll say ingenuity. Mm-hmm. You kind of never have the resources you need or the resources you want, And just figure out how to like make your way around all these problems and constantly improvise what you're doing to kind of reach your goal, as well as like constantly hitting setbacks and then having to reset a little bit.
Yeah, definitely would echo that. Working with the nonprofit I did in Arlington, it was a very small staff. It was us three AmeriCorps, an ED, and a program director. And halfway through the year, the ED left.
Classic.
So it was just and actually that program director had just started just as us AmeriCorps started. So she was brand new as well. So we kind of had to learn a lot of things on the fly. Definitely the flexibility was there, and definitely not having enough resources. I know I, try to teach myself basic Adobe Suite stuff like Illustrator and InDesign to kind of make more appealing flyers. Definitely, we wanted to make some videos about the program, so we were using our phones as video cameras, and would use like the Windows video editor, that gave me a lot of trouble the first time. But yeah, I definitely echo kind of being very flexible, not having all the resources that you want to make the program as best as you would like it to be, but you got to be flexible. You have to be flexible and use some ingenuity and learn a bunch of random skills.
Get those grassroots experiences.
Definitely.
And so how'd you get from AmeriCorps to the Stevenson Center?
So after AmeriCorps, I actually stayed in the Washington, D.C. area, and I worked at a nonprofit called the Latin American Youth Center. So at that position, I was there for 2 years. I was a college counselor for a scholarship program. So I worked with a caseload of about 30 students who were either just entering college or possibly been there for a year or two. And the goal of the program was to kind of transition people from possibly a community college to the four-year university. Because a lot of our participants were at community colleges and were either undocumented or just first-generation students. So primarily my task was making sure that they're staying up with their grades, or connecting them to resources if they needed to try to find extra money here and there for scholarships, help them pay for their education. So I was there for 2 years, and then I actually found out I started kind of thinking about getting a master's, but not. I was always worried because it's very expensive, very expensive.
Yes.
And then one summer, I got an email from AmeriCorps, and they were highlighting the Stevenson Center in their program, and I clicked through it and I read it, and I was like, this looks pretty cool. It's kind of more in that nonprofit sector, development sector, and I think one of the biggest selling points was definitely the financial aid package. The financial package was definitely something like, oh, okay, wow, I'm gonna really look into this now. So I did more digging and found out but more about the economics program. I think that's probably one of the biggest things that drove me to the Stevenson Center is both the academic work and then also definitely that financial aid package.
Nice. I think I was in the same boat too.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back from Peace Corps, no money, obviously. I was applying to grad school in Peace Corps without really planning on going.
Yeah.
So I was just like flipping through, and I was like, "Oh, this grad school is good, but I don't have $60,000."
Exactly.
And then I stumbled across Stevenson, and I was like, "I don't know, maybe like if I can get paid to go to grad school, why wouldn't I?"
Yeah.
So I still remember like sitting in my house in Lesotho interviewing with, I think it wasn't Katie, it must have been Beverly, in the freezing cold, like buying internet bundles, like in my terrible little hut, and getting in, like having Beverly, I think, kind of convinced me, like, yeah, like great financial package, you can make it in normal Bloomington on the $900 a month or whatever it was.
For me, it was either Stevenson Center or nothing. Otherwise, like Stevenson Center's financial package was so much better than any other schools. Like I said, plus that guaranteed assistantship, that guaranteed stipend every month as a grad student. I like that, and plus it gives you more experience. And then when I read through the description online, there was a lot of it kind of described what students would be doing as the assistantship, being an assistant to professor or working in data analysis, which also was a big factor. Like I really wanted to work with the data, and which I ended up working with.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about working with Dr. Beck last year?
Sure, yeah. So myself and Austin worked with Dr. Beck last year for the CJCC, the the council. What was it called again?
Criminal Justice
Justice.
Coordinating Council.
Yes,
You gotta get that J down.
I always forget the J or mess up the C's.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was a great experience and introduction to big data analysis, which is something I was very interested in. It was probably the best hands-on experience during my year there. I'm not only going through the data, but also presenting to some big people in the county, like the justices, the judges, the sheriffs. Who else was on the council? Public defenders.
The woman in charge of probation was there. Yeah, kind of everyone who was high up in McLean County's criminal justice system sat in and listened to us talk.
I think not only knowing how to do the data analysis, but also kind of presenting it to people that might not, know as much as us was definitely, I think, a skill that
much smarter in criminal justice, but we knew data and they did not.
Yeah, so being able to communicate that in more, I guess, layman's terms, but just an easy, understandable, digestible way is also a skill that people are continuously saying. Once we like, oh, you should be able to explain your data very well.
Yeah.
How's your? You want to tell us a little bit about your fellowship and what you're doing there?
So right now, I'm at the Housing Assistance Council in DC, and they focus in rural housing. They're a national intermediary. So they kind of help out all these smaller rural housing groups all over the country. They work pretty closely with USDA. They work really closely with HUD. Next week is our big rural housing conference. Yes, thank you. Forgot the word for a second. Which is pretty exciting because there's 600 people from, I think, all 50 states now. Oh, wow. We're going to have Fed Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell speaking, Ben Carson speaking from HUD, and then we have Senator Cortez Masto from New Mexico and Maxine Waters from California are all speaking. So it's a pretty big event and it's pretty exciting, but it's particularly exciting for me because I get to meet all these people that I've been like sending data to and answering phone calls with. And what about you? How's CBA?
So yeah, I'm with CBA, which stands for Credit Builders Alliance. So CBA is a national organization. They like to call themselves the bridge between nonprofits that are doing lending, like specific kind of loans, and the credit reporting agencies. So there are a lot of smaller nonprofits and CDFIs across the country that want to make loans to help their clients move from poverty to a middle class or wherever else. They want to lend this money to help them develop their lives. But a lot of the times, these nonprofits that want to make these loans, they can't actually report them to credit bureau like Experian or TransUnion. So what CBA acts as like an intermediary, where that we're able to bundle all these loans together and then report it to an Experian or TransUnion, so that once a client pulls their credit report, they have proven that they could pay back loans, and then eventually they could go to a bigger mainstream bank like a Bank of America, a Chase, and get a mortgage or a car loan with pretty good rates. Because usually if you don't have good credit, you're gonna get like humongous rates, not very good terms, and you kind of get shut off from that, like being able to buy a home, buy a car, markers of a middle class life. So with them, I've been helping them with their data collection strategy. They have a database on their Salesforce, but they're not doing as much as they want or collecting what they feel is enough data. So I'm kind of going through that, revising it, and revising how they collect their data, and hopefully, be able to help their clients, the organizations that partner with CBA, and help their clients out eventually.
Nice. And so what's a typical day for you? Go to the office at 9?
Yeah.
Work on Excel most of the day?
Get meetings, on the Metro.
Classic.
The very overcrowded Metro.
It's running at half pace right now.
Yeah, which is not great. It's annoying. So yeah, I ride the Metro in to Farragut West, which is pretty much right down the street from the White House. I could see the Washington Monument from our office, which
Nice.
is pretty cool. But yeah, I do that. I have a weekly phone call on Monday mornings with my supervisor. We talk about what I did the previous week, when I plan on working on this week. From there, just go on my day and do all the tasks I need to complete to accomplish bigger goals.
It's a pretty variable workload week to week, or
Yeah, I would say so. It's I have some more longer term projects, so for the most part, and some little side projects, but ultimately, like, everything's more long term. So
nice. And do you have any particular skills you feel like you've picked up? We've been in 5 months now,
yeah,
so coming up on the halfway mark.
definitely working with Salesforce is a big database that a lot of nonprofits across the country work with. There's also private organizations work with. So I think learning how to use Salesforce has probably been one of the biggest skills that I've picked up so far.
I've just started using that a little bit at my nonprofit.
Oh, cool.
I'm not great at it, but I have it like a little bit down. Probably not as much as you. And yeah, what's next for you? Did you ever determine what your final capstone ideal is?
So yeah, for my capstone, I am working with the nonprofit that I did my AmeriCorps with. I'm going to kind of be evaluating their program. Pretty much my question is their program having a significant effect on college enrollment for their participants?
Nice.
So right now I'm going through that, cleaning their data. There's some very small organizations, so they have a bunch of Excel spreadsheets all over the place. So working on cleaning all that up, and hopefully it'll be done by end of May.
Cool.
How about you? I know you finished your capstone.
Yes, I finished my capstone on USAID spending. I got to present via Skype to the Stevenson Center, so it's nice to have that a little bit off my plate. And now I have to look into whether or not I want to attempt to publish it with Dr. Mohammadi, but we'll see.
Gotcha.
That's kind of far away.
And any plans post fellowship?
No. But it's nice because we're gonna have masters, DC experience, have like 6 months to network around DC, get to know people, and of course we'll still have our health insurance till April or August. That's what I meant the other day. So it's not a huge rush.
Awesome.
What about you? Have you thought about post-master's degree?
Yeah, I know CBA has talked to me about my interest of possibly staying on, so that's a possibility. And possibly just working in a nonprofit sector with data analysis. So leaning towards more data analysis and nonprofit sector.
Stick in the data.
Yeah.
Data's kind of fun.
Oh, I think so. It's fun putting it together.
That seems like the common thread here. Playing with data is fun.
It is really fun. I think that's all the time we have for today, Austin. Any closing comments or pieces of advice for future Stevenson fellows?
No. I have nothing super insightful to say, other than I think Stevenson was a pretty good deal for both of us.
Yeah,
I think we're both. So. Obviously, we don't know the final product, but I think we're both set up pretty well.
Yeah, I think
moving into the future.
Yeah, I think definitely we were exposed to a lot of new skills, specifically data analysis, through our experiences, and I think that's going to really help us.
Do you have any other insightful comments?
Definitely be open to exploring different fields within the nonprofit sector and different organizations. Is something that I've come across in CBA. There's so many different organizations that are doing work. That's pretty awesome. So just doing simple Google searches on things you're very passionate about, trying to find those organizations.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, all right. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully this podcast was helpful, if anything.
If nothing else, you'll know at least a little bit what we went through.
All right. Thank you.